Okay, so this is the latest gadget that was sent to me by my supporters over at Choetech. And what this is a fast charging wireless car dock. So this is basically a dock that sticks somewhere onto your dashboard, wherever you can find a place to put it. And when you stick it on there, you plug it in, and it uses the wireless charging aspect of your smartphone in order to supply it with up to 10 watts max output. So if you're able to mount this in a way where you can simultaneously view the road and charge your phone, just laying your phone into it will automatically start the phone charging. And that's actually a pretty awesome thing. When you think about it, these police officers are out here watching a highway, and they're desperate to catch you using your phone, because if they catch you using your phone or holding your phone or whatever, they can charge you up to 5 points on your license, which I think is absolutely bullshit. I mean, 5 points is ridiculous. It's like you almost don't get that many for speeding. But they can charge you up to 5 points for your license here in New York. And, some states, they charge you like $300 and $400 fines and shit. So as you can see, Type-C USB port. There is a 5 volt, 2 amp, 9 volts, or 1.8 amp with an output of 10 watts maximum. So basically, the thing I'm interested in is if I have an iPhone XS Max, how long is it going to actually take to charge my phone to full? And also, how difficult is it to really mount this thing? So let's take a look. The first part that comes out of the box is the actual mount. This is a bulky piece of hardware right here. This thing has a sizable weight to it. It probably weighs about the same amount as some of the large screen phones do. Now, what it does is, when you put whatever you're going to lay there, right behind this portion is the charging pad. And right under there, as you can see, is the USB-C interface. Some cars come with USB-C, some cars don't. Like, I noticed a lot of the newest cars have USB-C built in. Well, the older cars typically only have USB 3.0, but at this point I really think either one's fine, because typically you have a USB 2.0 interface with a USB-C cable at the opposite end. So basically, the question is, where do you want to mount it? And I would say I could mount this probably right here somewhere under my mirror, because here's an interesting thing. I have to find out whether or not this suction cup can be mounted in a way as to avoid trying to mount it to the surface, because as you can see, if you have these leatherette type surfaces, sometimes those aren't very good for suction cups. Suction cups are really meant for glass. So let's take a look at the suction cup segment. Okay, so this is the telescoping arm. So as you can see, that gigantic suction cup right there. And this is the rotator lock. And right here is a turnable tension adjuster for this portion right here. So this portion actually can slide up in order to adjust how much leeway you're given on the mount. So keep in mind, obviously I'll probably have a discount code, and on top of it, if you have never bought one of these things before and you're looking for one to buy, we'll see how much money we could save you. Holder onto the arm, you can release the tension and you can actually lift it up so that it can be mounted like a kind of like a telescoping arm and whatnot. So, some people will figure this out really quickly and they'll do things with it. But you know what? I think if you turn this thing upside down, you might be able to mount it this way, which might actually work a little bit better. My only problem is the way this car is designed. I don't really like having to mount shit on my windshield, because the problem is, it's like, if you're going long distance and everything and you need to have a navigation device or something, like if you're one of these Uber drivers who are really the people who get the most use out of these things, okay, this is okay and everything. But me personally, the way my car is designed, I really like the cleanliness and the visibility and everything. I really don't like having stuff like this. But also, my other problem is for the people who do use these things as mounts to record, like as a camera, it's like my problem is you don't have the ability to actually rotate it and to look off to, you know, to the extreme angles. You can only see directly what's above or what's ahead of you. So yeah, that works for these compilations where you got a lot of car accidents and somebody who has a dash cam is able to capture them, but it doesn't really work for me. It's not something that I'd really want to have to use. I turned it around. This is how you mount it. Operation's quite simple. You just put it into place, you turn this, it locks, and that's it. Mounting takes, as you can see, less than, what, 2 seconds? And this portion is pivotable. This portion right here can be tension tightened, as you see. So basically, I have tension here. I have it laying right on this. So I have a little bit of tension there, and that's it. And now you can hold the camera or the phone or whatever. You can hold it pretty much perfectly. Now I can also rotate this because, as you know, iPhones have their cameras at the top, and most of these new phones from Android that copy iPhone have their cameras pretty much designed the exact same way that Apple does. So basically, you just slide whatever you're going to use in there, and you plug this portion into USB. And let's say you're using it like this vertically. All you really have to do is drop your phone in there and it should start charging immediately. And that's it. And that's basically it. So it's a very, very simple device design. I'm just glad Choetech gave this one to me free so that I could demonstrate it and show everybody just in case somebody is interested in buying it. So this video is basically not only a review but an installation to show you, you know, just how efficient one of these things can be. I've installed the USB wire, and as you can see, I don't like the fact that the USB wire, you know, the way this thing is designed, the USB wire basically snakes down in front of your navigation system. So my thing is, what car manufacturers, what they need to do is they need to start putting a USB port directly behind here, or possibly 2 USB ports directly behind here. If they would put USB ports directly behind the mirror where they could have access to the power, that would make things so much easier for people because they'd be able to mount stuff close to the mirror but without having to get in the way of their clean interior designs. It's like you think they think of stuff like this. It's like, I don't know, maybe I should be designing cars or something. Because I think 1 or 2 USB ports right here would be perfect. And you just have some short USB cables that would plug right into the bottom of this, and then everything would be perfect. So what also annoys me is the fact that now you have to take this and you have to figure out a place to plug it. So here's the problem though. I have one USB port right here, which I use for my USB music, because I have it all on a 128 gigabyte flash drive, which was given to me by Olala. And I made a video about this a while ago. I still use it, so it works really great and everything. Problem is, if I only have one USB port there, then I would need to have a cigarette lighter in order to plug it in right here. So that means that I have to ride around with this open, because as you can see, there's really no space to close this if I have to have this thing open. The other issue is the only other USB ports I have are down here. So now I have to run this wire all the way back to this place, which is going to be impossible to do because it's just too short. So my thing is, it's like they need to think, well, the car manufacturers would help very much if they would put USB ports directly behind the mirrors. But even with that, it's like, you know, I wish what they would do is, instead of running the power out of the bottom of here, they could have run the power into this and out of here somewhere. And then, yeah, I mean, you can always snake the wire yourself. The problem is this part right here still sticks deep out the bottom. But it would have been nice if they could have run the power wire here, and then maybe I could have even spliced into my 12 volt right here. Because it is possible for you to get USB ports and add them into your car if you have a professional do the wiring for you, because it's only like 5 volts, or you could maybe, you know, you could run all 12 volts if you have a really good professional do it. But that's just where we are. So my issue is, it's, you know, this is another reason why I just don't see myself using this thing. I just don't see myself using it. The device, there are two spring-loaded buttons. One here for the bottom, and then there's one here at the top. So when you push the one at the top, it opens up ready to accept whatever device you have. If you push it and hold it, it'll open a bit wider. And then when you put whatever you have in there, you can also open up the bottom, and the bottom just pops right down. So whatever device, whatever you've got, a Samsung Galaxy or whatever, I think even some of those smaller tablets might even be able to fit in here. But it pinches down to close them, and it has some nice rubberized grips right here, and those grips will hold it nice and into place and everything. And that's it. And then you can basically just use it at your leisure, you know. So there's many possible uses for this. Like, you could mount it in your car, you can mount it in an airplane, you can mount it pretty much any place where you'll have power for it and that you have a windshield. So that's actually pretty nice. But again, it's like my problem is it ruins the cleanliness of my sweeping, you know, display. Like, I want to be able to look and not have to see something directly in the way. Like, if I was going to mount this thing, I'd rather mount it as high up next to this mirror as possible. Fortunately, I have a navigation system, so I don't actually need this, because I can't really think of any reason why I'd want to hold my phone up in a way where I can't easily get access to my phone. So but that's basically it. I mean, you know, it's like, if you're used to using these things, then you pretty much already have figured out how to best adapt them to your personal need. It's just that for me, this thing is not good for my needs, but it's very well built. The plastics are very heavy duty plastics. It's a very it's got plenty of adjustability, so that's great. So you can pretty much angle your phone, your Galaxy, your Apple. You can angle it however you want. So it's basically ready, especially if you're an Uber driver or a Lyft or something. It's ready to be used. It's really cool.